For many, as there are still many communities underwater, the power outages, they are being whittled down, but still a long way to go, and some folks may not be back for days. Let's go to Columbia.
Got it. Thank you. Well, the sun is shining, and that is a blessing, and we are excited to see that we have several days of sunshine and cooler weather. So that is going to help us tremendously as we continue the speed of recovery and getting people back into their homes. What we are finding out now is not only did we just deal with a hurricane, but we are now dealing with a flood. And as the rivers start to flow, what we are seeing are things like what's happening in Marion County, where we're seeing them 4 feet underwater, and expect those things to continue over the next 1 to 2 weeks. So our goal is to keep pre-positioning and getting ready, getting the word out to all of those communities so that they know what's coming, and to make sure that we're ahead of that whole situation. Our PIPS line, which is to help any residents with any issues they have, has already received 15,000 calls over this storm event. Just a reminder of what that number is. If you have any issues or questions whatsoever, you can call 1-866-246-0133. 1-866-246-0133, and that will help assist you in any of the questions regarding where you are. We still have 4 islands that are closed, Fripp, Hunting Harbor, and Hilton Head Island, but we did hear that Mayor Bennett of Hilton Head Island has declared the roads blocked to Hilton Head will be lifted at 3 p.m. Beaufort County is requesting and returning citizens, but do not plan to queue at the roadblock. Rather, plan a staggered entrance to ensure smooth passage to the island. So I think they're asking people not to flood it so that they can stagger it back in. Pre-staging or queuing creates crowded traffic lanes and will interfere with emergency access. Not all traffic control devices may be in place or working. Treat all unregulated intersections as a 4-way stop. So they are continuing to do that. The other 3 will remain closed for the time being. We do have damage assessments being done by FEMA over the next few days, and so we'll be watching and working with them on that. When it comes to fatalities, we are holding at 3 fatalities right now, and praying that that's all that we see as we go forward. The calls that have come into Highway Patrol have been 4,345. 1,695 were collisions. Over the last 24 hours, we've had 677 calls and 379 collisions. So those numbers are falling, but again, patience, so that we can avoid any accidents on the interstates as people start to head back home. US 21 is flowing well. Our Highway Patrol is continuing to escort utility teams into areas in which they need to get into, and also help at traffic points where that needs to happen. I-95 in North Carolina is closed on that South Carolina border, and so I know that they've created a alternative route for people to use in that situation. But I want to personally thank all of our law enforcement officers and those with DPS. 709 of them have been activated and working incredibly hard to keep people safe. So I do just want to remind people we can't thank them enough at this time. From the DOT standpoint, we now have 1,500 maintenance workers on site, and that's 100 more than yesterday. And so to give you a full DOT report, I'm going to ask Secretary Hall to come forward, please.
Thank you, Governor. We currently have all interstates open in South Carolina. The Governor mentioned the closure of I-95 just north of our border, so we need to keep that in mind as we plan our travel routes. Only 92 primaries across the state are closed, and the bulk of those closures are due to either a single tree caught in a power line that we're trying to get coordinated with our electric providers to get that out of the way. But the vast majority of our primary closures are due to flooding in the PD area. Our total closures, roads and bridges, is 434 across the state. That includes the 92 primaries that I mentioned and 315 secondary roads, so those smaller roads leading into the neighborhoods and the communities. And the bulk of those are either due to flooding or trees across the road. We also have 27 bridge closures that are included in that 434 number. And our progress for how we clear the roads is interstates first, primaries next, and then we work our way into those neighborhood streets, clearing debris to try to get what we call the first push done to get people access back in. So that work's ongoing. On those 27 bridge closures, we're aware of 3 that are damaged. And as the floodwaters begin to recede, we'll inspect and review those numbers, so those numbers may go up once we're able to get into the PD area to look at those bridges. The 3 known damaged bridges are Harbor River on US 21 that we've been working on for the last couple of days to try to get that ready to turn back over to the locals to get access back into Fripp, Hunting, and the barrier islands out there. The other 2 bridges are in Florence County. One's on Secondary 13, and the other one is SC 41 in Florence. Those 2 are damaged. We still have flooded roads in parts of Horry, Dillon, Marion, parts of Georgetown, Florence, and Williamsburg County, and then a few isolated areas of flooding at the lower end of the state. As I mentioned, we've been making excellent progress on reopening the roads with our first push in the lower part of the state, and we want to thank the Guard and our other local first responders for their help on getting us to that point. We've moved sign and signal crews down to the lower part of the state to help get the signs and the signals operational. And we just ask that you please continue to not drive around barricades or in flooded roadways. It's a very dangerous situation. We are monitoring and pre-positioning our assets in anticipation of potential future flooding in parts of the PD. I-95 at the Great PD, we're monitoring closely. SC9 in the Longs area, SC22, as well as US 501 at Gallivan's Ferry. We're monitoring those very closely. Our call number in the event that you need assistance in planning your travel routes is 1-855-GO-SCDOT. 1-855-GO-SCDOT. And if you call that, we'll be happy to provide you up-to-date information. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Secretary Hall. I appreciate it. And now just to give you an update, our SLED agents have been working nonstop to assist all of our counties to make sure that they have what they need, but I'd like to have Chief Keel give a report. Please. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As of this morning, our SLED, along with all of our law enforcement partners and National Guard, are still conducting a number of security efforts around the state on the coastal areas. In Colleton County, we're still providing shelter security there, and also Eddystone Beach, we're providing security patrols 24 hours a day in those areas. In Ridgeland, we're providing security for traffic control points, food distribution areas, and the Ridgeland shelter. In Beaufort County, we have 16 security zones that are staffed, and those zones are those areas of the folks that are working those areas are being demobilized as the power comes back on within those 16 security zones. In Georgetown County and City, we have security patrols being conducted and also working on traffic management in those areas. In Horry County, Conway, we're providing security to Conway and Horry County, providing patrols in those areas, and also Horry County shelters. In Florence County, we're also providing security patrols and traffic control in Florence County. In addition to that, and I know Director Taylor will talk more about it, but we're providing assistance with DNR for our river patrols and the Little PD and the Waccamaw. In addition, we have aerial assets that have been deployed there to provide assistance to those river patrols so that we have eyes in the sky, we see what's going on. We try and anticipate the problems that we have with the flooding, and those aerial assets are also available both 24 hours a day, both day and night, to try and patrol those areas that are flooded and where folks have evacuated their homes, and that will continue until the floodwaters recede.
Thank you very much, Chief. With our Department of Natural Resources, they have 109 officers that are deployed. They have had a total of what we approximately think are 205 rescues and 30 pets, and yesterday 5 of them were goats. So I want to tell you that our DNR agents have been fantastic in showing compassion, and sacrifice and doing whatever it takes to make sure that every resident is able to get out safely, including our pets. And so, but to give you more of an idea of what we can expect with the rivers and the flooding and where we go from here, I'm going to ask Director Taylor to come forward, please.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. Your DNR officers have been involved in our river rescues and along the coastal South Carolina. Right now, we're mainly concerned, and our efforts are being focused on, first, the Little PD River, from the Nichols area all the way down to the Great PD. Once you leave Nichols, there are a number of small communities along that river basin, which we have officers in the water now in conjunction with help from other state resources, mainly SLED. And we have boats in the water. We're going door to door, making sure that who's there, who's not there. If it's time for rescue now, our message to these residents from along Little PD, you still have time. You know, as we leave Nichols and you go downstream, you still have time. You need to have an evacuation plan, and you still have time to get out on those lower reaches of Little PD. But we will be in there with SLED and with their aviation units 24 hours a day, search and rescue, and also security for those properties. And so those folks along Little PD, you still have a chance to get out from those lower areas. We also are focusing on the Waccamaw River and the Conway area. We have boating assets there as well. The same plan is in place. Notify residents, check to make sure people are safe, offer the opportunity to climb on board of our boats and get out, and so that's what we're doing there as well. The Little PD is expected to crest in the next 24 to 48 hours, so we're looking forward to 48 hours passing. The Waccamaw River, however, is a different story. The crest prediction there could be anywhere from 7 to 10 days, and that still may be a little flexible as well. One thing to remember, even though the river crests, that doesn't mean the water's gone. That means that it will start receding, but that will be a slow process. There's so much water in the system to have to flow out that once we crest, it's still going to be a while before those rivers are back anywhere close to normal stage. Our message is you still have time. You need to have an evacuation plan. And our second message would be to those folks that we're still having problems with sightseers. If you're a sightseer and you want to go in and take a look at these homes, or just your curiosity is too much for you and you want to ride and look, don't do it. Our officers are going to be asking these boaters to leave, because those wakes, they may not understand, those wakes cause tremendous damage to those homes that are flooded. And all of our residents have too much to worry about now than for a boater to come through and throw a large wake into their home. So that's our message for those boaters. And Governor, that's all I have for the moment.
Thank you, Director Taylor. I appreciate that. The National Guard continues to be at hard work for us. They had 50 high water vehicles working yesterday. I saw one of them. It's phenomenal what they do. They are now upping that to 75. They continue to support with search and rescue. They have been involved in over 400 rescues and assisting with our other agencies. They are doing major operations on Edisto Island. There is a lot of sand. That's actually going to be one of the areas I'm flying over today. A lot of sand on roads, and working to clear that out. They're also working in Clarendon County and Pawleys Island as needed. They are continuing to do shelter and transportation assistance and supporting the hospital in Florence for clean water. And so I will tell you, to the thousands of National Guard men and women who are out there working, thank you very much for assisting these agencies. I want to thank General Livingston for his partnership in the process, and also in working and moving forward. So now let's get into shelters. At our peak, we were at 78 shelters and 6,733 residents. We are now proud to say that we are at 17 shelters with 708 residents. 13 schools are closed because of the use of shelters. That's down from 64. So tremendous job by Director Alford and the DSS staff, as well as with Molly Spearman, and working on that. The 2 pet-friendly shelters have been closed, but if you have any issues whatsoever, go to the EMD website, and they will be happy to still assist anyone that needs help with pets in working forward on that front. Our Department of Social Services staff has not stopped. They have 364 staff on the ground, many who have been manning those shelters and have been tired, but have always made sure that the requests were met and that people have been taken care of, and so we thank them very much for all that they continue to do. We are seeing in the shelters the highest number of people in shelters. Number 1 is in Beaufort. Number 2 is at Bluffton High School. Well, actually, let me say this. Beaufort and Bluffton High School's occupancy more than doubled last night. So we are now pre-positioning 2 Hilton Head shelters that I think will be coming up there. We're working in conjunction with the county to do that. Marion 2 schools are on standby for shelters as we're bringing more food and water in to prepare for what they're getting ready to go through. Let's see, I want to make sure. We are now focused on future needs. We're going to have to build up some other shelters as we deal with the flooding efforts, but we are in front of it and getting that taken care of. The EMD website, if you need anything, they will have not only the shelters that are currently open, but they will have the future shelters that will be open. So for those that see the flooding that's coming in, please don't hesitate to go to the EMD website and find out what those are. And thanks again to all of the DSS staff for assisting in everything that they've done. Right now, we have 105,500 boiled water advisories, and so a lot of people need to be very careful in terms of the water. We have many hospitals that are resuming operations, which is great news. DHEC has delivered 400 oxygen tanks to the areas that were affected, and we want to thank EMS for helping with that deployment. Our EMS first responders have been fantastic as well in helping us get what we need to where we need to go. But to give you a total update on dams and everything that DHEC is working on now, I'm going to turn over to Director Heigl.
Thank you. So just an update on the boil water advisories. We currently have 25 systems that are impacted, which account for the 105,000+ people that the governor just mentioned. That's down from our high, we hope it was our high, last night of 28 systems and 109,000 customers. Currently with the dams, we have inspected almost all of the dams, the 250 that we were interested in getting to. And their current count for failures is 13 confirmed breaches, 9 of those regulated, 4 of those unregulated. At this point now, we are deploying crews back out to the hardest hit areas, particularly the PD, to look at our low hazard dams, the C3 dams. And so, again, as I noted yesterday, that number is likely to climb as we get out to more and more of these structures. That completes my report.
Thank you. And so in talking about powers and utility, we have currently 8,500 linemen on the ground that are trying to get your power on as soon as possible. They are having to make sure they're going into areas that are safe to get that turned back on. If you see a lineman, thank them, because they and many times have left their homes where they had no power to make sure that you do have power. So we're very appreciative to all of the utility companies and co-ops that are working to do that. We have restored 570,718 customers. That is over 66 back online since when these outages came on. We currently sit at 290,108 outages. So that doesn't tell you they're moving fast and efficiently. I don't know what is. It was a massively large number when we were talking about 860,000, so it's nice to see that we're down to 290. The counties with the highest outages, Horry County has the most right now, Beaufort County has the second highest, and then Florence has the third highest, and that's in order of those outages. DPS is helping move fuel trucks, getting into those areas and continuing to assist with getting utility crews into the areas as well. So we have, what we told yesterday was a crisis cleanup line, and that is for anyone who is dealing with damage to their home, debris removal, needing help and needing assistance. Our volunteer organizations were fantastic in putting a number together to give you who to call. Over 8,100 homeowners have already called since yesterday. And we have teams out there helping all of them. So the number to call if you need assistance for rebuilding, cleanup, debris removal, for the temporary type work that needs to be done, that number is 1-800-451-1954. 1-800-451-1954 to have voluntary organizations come out to help you with any of the needs that you have. For those who want to volunteer, because we are South Carolinians, and that's what we are seeing start to happen, is an influx of people wanting to help their neighbors, you can call 1-888-585-9643. To volunteer, call 1-888-585-9643. Director Farmer and the Department of Insurance are doing tremendous work in trying to make sure that things are getting processed and are happening. They have over 3,600 adjusters in the state right now helping with claims. They are going to have a disaster claims center open up tomorrow at the Bluffton Home Depot. And that will be Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 5 to assist consumers with their questions and also with their claims. So if you're in that area, they will probably do this in other areas, but they're starting at the Bluffton Home Depot Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 5 to assist with claims. Director Farmer also took action to protect the citizens of South Carolina with a 60-day extension for payment without losing insurance. So if you have had damage and are in the process of just trying to take care of that, we have a 60-day extension that you will not lose your insurance if you don't get those payments made on time. We are working to iron out the logistics with an emergency medical group that will come in, and they are going to probably go to our hardest hit areas to bring in doctors, dentists, any of those medical needs that might happen. We're looking at that going to the Nichols, Marion County location at this point, but that could change, and we'll keep you in touch with that. 204 firefighters have volunteered themselves from where they are normally stationed to help in Horry and Marion County. And again, I can't thank the firefighters enough. They don't have to do this, but they are. And they're helping this area that is underwater and greatly in need of help. And so we're thankful to those firefighters as well. Commissioner Weathers and I have been working closely with Duke Scott at the Office of Regulatory Services to get our produce and our farmers back online. Many were on generators and were worried that they had very little time, so we're working to get those back online, and we'll continue to do so. Thanks again to Director Sterling and Corrections. They are continuing sandbag operations as we need those, and now they're getting distributed to different areas, so we appreciate him for that as well. And then I just want to say thank you to everyone who has gone to the 1SC Fund website. Yesterday we said that, you know, we are a state where neighbors help neighbors. We have some residents, it's heartbreaking that they just rebuilt, they just got renovated, and then the storm took them right back out again. And so what we have done is establish the 1SC Fund to work with our volunteer organizations. This will help the elderly, the most challenged, and the disabled try and rebuild. And so for anyone that wants to donate resources and their time, they can go to 1scfund.org to make sure that we have, so that we can make sure that you can donate as needed. I want to say a big thank you to AT&T who came through this morning with a $25,000 donation to start that going, as well as the individuals who signed on immediately yesterday and started donating to that as well. And finally, I want to, because we're starting to find a little bit of balance but still work hard, I want to thank someone who's been extremely instrumental in communicating what we need to have done. Jason Herdick has become a rock star, and so I want to personally thank you for all that you've done. Not only do you now have, not only do you have a major fan base, but you have made your South Carolinians very proud, and for that we are all grateful to you for your communication.
Thank you.
All right, and so with that, we will now open it up for any questions that you may have.
Governor, is it almost like there's two disasters here where we've got the low country that got hit by the hurricane and it's starting to recover, but we've got the flooding going on and getting worse in the PD?
I mean, don't ever say South Carolina is not resilient. I was thinking about this today. We have gone through 2 winter storms, a 1,000-year flood, 2 fire instances, and now a hurricane that is turning into a flood. And boy, do we keep bouncing back time and time again. But yes, what you are seeing is Hurricane Matthew was the additional problem. Now we're going into a flood situation where we're going to have to make sure that we're ready. At least for this part of it, we can prepare and be pre-positioned and know somewhat of a timeline of what's going to happen. But it doesn't make it any easier on those residents who are sitting underwater right now and just have seen all that they have damaged. So yes, now we are moving from a hurricane event to a flood event.
Governor, in accordance to the warning to people about the internet scam, what type of help can we offer to them as far as repair?
You know, I think the main thing is with all internet scams, not just during a storm, you want to be careful that anybody that you don't know that emails you and offers you information, you should not take it, because once you open that up, they get into your computer. So that is not just for a time of storms, that's a time always that you should be very careful with the emails you open up, any sort of websites that you open up, because that allows them to get in and see your information, and that's something we don't want to happen.
Governor Haley, do you have any updates on the disaster declaration you requested from the President?
So we requested that yesterday, they're working on that today, and so hopefully we'll have some information soon.
Governor Haley, do you plan on getting down and visiting Nichols and some of the harder hit areas in the near future?
So I did that yesterday. So yesterday was really seeing Florence and Marion County, going straight over Nichols and seeing it. It was absolute devastation and heartbreaking, because at least at minimum, first stories were all completely flooded. Cars were damaged. Fortunately, I mean, lives have been saved because of all of our law enforcement and first responders. Lots of rescues taking place. As you know, the 150 people at the top of Town Hall that had gone to the 3rd floor were all rescued safely. Another 40 last night that were rescued. So we'll continue to do that. Today I will be on the coast looking at those barrier islands that were hit hard. So I'll be in the Edisto, Beaufort, Fripp Island area, those just to kind of see exactly what's going on. Edisto got hit really, really hard, and it was more to where we've got to see what the beaches look like. We want to see the congestion in Beaufort on 278 and see how backed up that is getting to be, and also just what it looks like, because they lost a tremendous number of trees, and so we want to make sure we see all of those areas because we need to put eyes on them.
We're waiting for the floodwaters from North Carolina to head our way, because their rivers are packed, and now we're talking about slow water rivers too, so it's just going to sit there and move slowly down the coast.
I mean, that's the way I think so. I mean, Director Taylor,
Yes,
do you want to add to that?
I think that's exactly right. We're waiting on the water from north. Some of it is here, but there's more to come. And that's going to be evident, really evident in the Waccamaw River as well. So we're at a place where we're looking for a crest, but it's going to take a while before it's all gone, because those waters coming out of North Carolina.
Director Taylor, are there other communities that you can name along the Little PD or the Waccamaw that we should specifically reference as places that really need to get out?
Well, if you look at the Little PD, the Nichols is the town where we start. When you go down to Little PD, we're fortunate that we don't have any more towns, but there are a number of small communities, bedroom communities along the river, and those are the areas that we're looking at now. Some of them have names, common names, Goat Island, or you know, there's just a number of little bedroom communities, but no towns. If you look at the Waccamaw River, of course, there's Conway. And then we will move up the Waccamaw River with residents just live along the river there.
And they've been great at communicating with those residents to let them know exactly what's going on and what's happening. And the mayor of Nichols and all of the community has been working very well with us.
Governor, the increase in the shelters in the Beaufort area, is that mostly evacuees who are coming home and trying to get on the islands and realizing they can't get back?
I'm not real sure of what is the actual plan of Hilton Head and what they're doing. I just know that there was an overflow at the high school, and that they have started working with our DSS to develop 2 possible other shelters should they need it. So again, this is their county plan that's come together. I think they thought they might need 2 more shelters, so we stepped up and we're assisting them in that effort.
Is there any, does Secretary Hall know when the Harbor River Bridge will be open?
We are trying to get our repairs completed as quickly as possible, and as soon as we get those repairs done, we will turn that bridge over to the local officials, and that's a local decision based on their safety concerns once you get past the bridge. So that'll be a local decision. Our job is to get the bridge ready and get the repairs done and turn it over to the locals.
Could you provide some more details about the hospital in Florence? You said National Guard's providing water, clean water for it.
General.
Just some details on which hospital that is.
That's McLeod Hospital. And what's happened is Florence has experienced a low water pressure situation due to broken pipes, and so they're worried about contamination. So we're taking water out of the system, purifying it, and putting it back into the hospital.
Director Heigl, I have a crew on the ground that's asked me if I can ask you if you know about the dam in Sherrod that's on the brink of failing, if that's been in you guys' investigations here?
We have an unregulated dam in Chesterfield County near Sherrod, Meadow Street near Sherrod. I'm not sure if that's the same one you're referencing. That is a new one that we have confirmed did fail. So from the count last night to today, that one is new.
Thank you.
Secretary Hall, what can people expect who are still heading back as far as the roads and traffic? Because I know that some people have said that there were some issues yesterday as far as just sitting and trying to be patient in traffic.
Yes, I mean, we continue to urge patience with any of these reentries. There's certain roads that you won't be able to go through due to downed trees, few flooded roads. Our advice is to listen to your local officials and follow their direction with regards to reentry. I know we've had a lot of people want to get back home as quickly as possible, and that's created some challenges for us because the local officials weren't ready to receive those folks. So we're doing the best we can to get coordination done, and of course you can call on our website or our 855-GO-SCDOT number to get up-to-date information.
And I think the one thing I want to add to that is storms are not convenient. I mean, people need to understand we never want a storm, we never look for a storm, but when they happen, it's all about safety. So the fast order in which we tried to evacuate was extremely important because it was a safety issue. Our job is not to make sure you get back home in record time. Our job is to work with the counties on when they're able to receive people and how we can support them in getting people back into their homes. But I would ask for patience. And while I understand it's easy to get frustrated whether you're sitting in traffic or whether you can't get to your home, I want you to take a second and count your blessings because you have your life. And at the end of the day, you know, while we have lost 3 people that we hold heavy on our heart, so many were saved. And that's the answer that we want you to take away, not how long you're sitting in traffic to get to your home and not how inconvenient it is. A storm will never be convenient, but lives can never be lost. And that's the goal that we're going to continue to focus on as we go forward.
Governor, can you provide some more information about when people might be seeing FEMA groups on the ground? I know we had some of those areas set up last year for the flood. When can people start maybe seeing some of those and getting some of those federal resources? Is that after we get the declaration from the government, or what's the timeline on that?
I think they're already here now, but I'll let Mike Moore with FEMA give you further details on that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Governor. Yes, FEMA's been on the ground since early last week. We brought in various resources to support the state's efforts in support of the governor's priorities. So you have seen FEMA employees, FEMA resources in the area, in the state, certainly. And we continue to prepare for a potential declaration, a major declaration, and we're anticipating that with bringing in additional crews.
And that's when people in some of these affected areas will see FEMA set up in certain areas to provide assistance?
Once the declaration comes in, we'll work with the governor and her staff to coordinate our efforts into the field to get resources out there to assist the citizens.
And FEMA's already doing damage assessments in the counties now, and will continue to do that over the next 2 days.
Do we know when you guys are shooting for like a day when this might be wrapping up, or is it too soon to say at this point?
it's a little bit too soon. I would anticipate that the damage assessments would take about a week.
But we'll know about the declaration before that.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood
Assessments,
the assessments, but the declaration, I would think so, yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? So what we want to continue to say is, remember to say thank you to those who are out there trying to help you get back. Patience, patience, patience. Think about this. This storm just happened this weekend. It is Tuesday, and we are already seeing people get back in their homes. We're seeing all of our interstates open. We're seeing primary roads being open. We're seeing schools and shelters closing and schools getting back into order. The outage is 66%. Down from where it was at our height. So a lot of things have happened in a very short amount of time. It will take us, a few more days, a couple days to make sure we get everything from Hurricane Matthew dealt with, and then we'll start working with the flood. But what I can tell you is all of the teamwork of everybody behind me and all those you don't see because they're working the roads right now is an unbelievable group of cooperation. I'm very thankful to each and every one of them, and also thankful to South Carolinians for their prayer and their patience as we go forward. Thank you very much.
Haley wrapping up her daily briefing as recovery efforts from